Hey everyone, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to my interview with Jarrett from Bowling for Soup. Hello.
Hey, how's it
Hi.
going?
I'm doing really well. How are you? How are you holding up with all this craziness?
Craziness is good. I mean, it's funny. There's a few people that I've talked to that have sort of the same um, view on it as me, and it's like where it should have been kind of the most downtime ever. I have managed to turn it into like the busiest time pretty much of the last 10, 15 years for myself. And so yeah, but I'm good. I mean, we just got back from recording a new record, and literally just got back within the last day or so. So I'm a little exhausted. We decided to drive. Well, we rode a bus instead of fly, and that ended up being great on the way there, but on the way back, not so good. It was a
You're like,
48
just get
hour
me
trip.
home.
Well, yeah, and then we started breaking down, and
Oh,
um, an 18-hour trip turned into 48 hours, and so anyway, but I'm in my kitchen. Not the greatest backdrop of all time, but I'm home, safe and sound, and talking to you. So life is good.
no, it's fantastic. I'm glad that you're here on the show. What was it like kind of being back on the tour bus, almost with that whole touring vibe surrounding you, but you know deep down there are no live shows that are about to happen?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a perfect description of the way that it was. On the way there, there was excitement because we were back on the bus. We actually flew Rob down here. Rob lives in the Poconos, so we flew Rob down here to be on the bus with us for the journey. So it was just us and our tour manager and our video guy, and we just had a blast. It was like camp. Um, on the way back, you're tired and the record's done, so you're just ready to get home. And myself and Gary both had stuff to get home to for our kids that we missed, and so that's just it. You didn't have that, man. At least we got to play a bunch of shows. It was just like we just have all this music recorded that nobody's going to hear until next year.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
a bit anticlimactic, but at the same time, I mean, um, super fun and positive and just good to be back together. I mean, it's the longest, I've been in a band with Chris Burney for 26 years. It's the longest I'd ever gone without seeing him in
Yeah, wasn't
person.
it
So
wasn't it about 6 months you hadn't seen your bandmates? Like that must just be the most surreal thing ever. Because you guys are usually attached to the hip, whether recording,
yeah,
touring, you know?
yeah, we're really really close. So the good thing is that I actually had gotten to see Gary. Gary and I had gone and played golf a couple of times, and I mean, we tried to just make it to where we didn't miss a beat. We tried to hang out online together. We would do these things called band meetings and just get on Facebook Live and just hang out with each other. Literally no agenda, and so we did that. And Gary and I still do our podcast together called the Rockstar Dad Show, and so communication and stuff was there. But yeah, just sort of like being there physically and being able to punch each other, is that's one of the things that was missed the most, I guess.
I bet. And it's an exciting time to be a fan of the band and in the band because on October 3rd, you'll be streaming two huge full band sets for a global audience. People have been waiting for this for so long. And you've actually been doing some live streams here and there, but I was curious, why did now kind of feel like the perfect time to not only deliver, a live stream from the house, but kind of deliver a spectacle with this double show?
Yeah, I mean, the thing was is that the doing the whole live band shit. My dog just came in from getting groomed, so
You're welcome. I love dogs.
she's yeah, she's quite the she's a mastiff, so she's 120
Aw,
pounds, and she is quite a spectacle.
that's awesome.
Um, yeah. So anyway, she's looking for her brothers and sisters. Hey Hazel, we're on TV right now, so go do something else. But yes, the oh, so why now? It just kind of timed out great. I mean, we had been getting these offers pretty much nonstop to do different live streams and things. And it was still just kind of scary, I mean, we would have had to have flown crew in. I mean, because we can't just show up. Like, if I'm being honest, we're not at a level. We're not like arena band, but we do well enough to where I don't know how to set up my own amp. Like I don't know
Right.
how to do that. And so we need crew guys. And so, our crew all live in different parts of the country. And, now our bass player lives in the Poconos. And so logistically, it was just like, I just don't know that I want to do that. And so when the idea to do this, now came up and put it off long enough to October, it was like, okay, we can do this and we can plan enough to where everybody can social distance and we can do it under, we're doing it at a sound stage, no audience. So everything's super, super safe. Everybody there works there and doesn't moonlight and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it just timing was really good. And so, I'm stoked. It's songs that we haven't played, again, like I said, and well, it'll be like 8 months since our last show.
Crazy.
And just the vibe I think the vibe in between songs is going to be, something special because we only have each other to entertain, which is our favorite thing to do.
And sometimes like the best things in one-liners can come right out of that.
100%. Yeah. And so, yeah, 2 shows. Cause if you keep up with our band, that we do really, really well in the UK and in other parts of the world. So that was another thing. We couldn't do like a full production show in Dallas at like 8:00 at night with lights and stuff and cover our whole audience. We would have had to have played at 2:00 in the afternoon, outside. So soundstage, 2:00 in the afternoon. So it's 8:00 in London. And then we play again at 8:00 Central Standard Time. And, it's going to be wonderful, lights and, just like you're watching us on a stage, only you can do it in your underwear on your couch.
Right. That's been like the best part of hosting interviews from home too, is just rocking pajama pants the whole time,
Yeah, 100%. I do not have underwear on right now. Like it's in no way is that an issue.
Right.
So, I mean, I've got pants on. I've got on shorts. But,
I appreciate you.
Like, yeah, exactly. But if you and I were going to be in the same room, I would do you the honor to not just have athletic shorts on.
Right.
I would put on some under stuff. But yeah, it's but that's but you mentioned my other streaming shows. I did 57 shows between March 19th and the middle of August. And yeah, it was one of those deals where I would literally just I got to the point where I was going and like I'd just throw on a clean t-shirt and stick my hair up and it didn't matter what I had on down there, if I had on shoes or whatever.
It's really true. I feel like most of the time you just kind of go from kicking it in pajamas to throw on like a slightly presentable shirt and no one knows unless you mention it.
That's it, right? And it's like that for everybody that's working out there too. It's like that's the new the new thing is like, oh, man, like you're not as worried about like, I got to brush my teeth and shave. And now it's just like, oh man, I've got to put on real pants. Yeah. I think Chris Burney, our guitar player, was like, I haven't put on real shoes, since February. And like, it's just flip flops. And it's very true. It's those things that you don't think about where we just, it really hasn't been necessary. My wife and I were talking yesterday about something, and we remembered that she didn't actually drive a car from like March until I think it was like June.
Wow.
Or something like that, because our kids were home and we weren't going anywhere, and we have a golf cart to get us around our neighborhood. And so it was just, she was just like, yeah, I remember. And I was like, yeah, I do remember that actually.
You remember driving cars?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had brought that up because I was, I've been gone for 3 weeks doing the record. And I was like, I hope I need to go check my mail. And I was like, gosh, I hope I remember how to drive. Used to, I would go to the UK for a month. We do 28 shows in 28 days, and I'd come back and I didn't know which side of the road to drive on. And
that must be a bit of a mind screw. Like just
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. You don't think about it. Like I got in the car yesterday, and how you can save the position that you want the seat to be in, on the thing. So it's my car, so I'm the number 1, and then she's the number 2, and she messes with hers all the time. But I pressed the number 1, and I'm like, okay, put me in the seat. I'm like, I don't know if this is still comfortable. I don't know if this works for me anymore.
You have to rethink everything now.
Everything.
Well, just going back to the double show just for a second, this of course is the event that will make the world fun again. So
That's right.
we're all missing live shows so much, live music. So if you could choose one band to see live right now, which would that be?
Oh man, that would be hard. Well, no, you know what? I make it difficult in my mind because I overthink it, but it would be the Descendants. If I could see one band, it would be the Descendants. That's the band that there are certain bands that make me cry a little bit, and like that is one of them. The last time I saw the Descendants, I think I cried 3 times,
Three
and
times.
yeah, yeah, and it's certain songs and certain vibes, and it just
Memories that link with it.
exactly, and
Yeah.
they're really the reason pop punk even exists, and that's who it would be, and with a second, very slightly second place going to Frank Turner.
Oh my gosh, he was one of the first people I ever interviewed like 8 years ago. He is just an incredible musician.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's great, and playing socially distant shows already in the UK, and just doing really really well, and just a fabulous musician and a fabulous human being.
Absolutely. Well, something else that I did want to bring up with you, because it's really exciting, because I find there's an incredible crossover between music and wrestling. And that's why on my show, I interview musicians and wrestlers. And Bowling for Soup recently got to collaborate with WWE superstar Alexa Bliss, writing and performing Alexa Bliss for her. So I
We
know
did.
that you guys have known each other for quite some time. She's come out to a few of your shows and vice versa. So when did it kind of come down to the moment where you're like, you know what? We know each other. This will be a blast. She's going to love it. Let's just make this happen. Let's just finally
Yeah,
song.
no, it's almost like it starts with what you said, that there's this crossover between wrestling and music. And I was like, it's funny, like I know that fans of what we do love this, but for some reason it's more of just in that Midwestern rock thing that they exist in. Like all of the people just use that kind of music when they're coming out. I'm just like, we just, and this is her favorite kind of music. So I was like, she just needs a song. And so it was written, and I actually, her birthday just passed, but a year ago, I sent it to her on her birthday, and she cried and sent me a video. And yeah, she came to Texas, and we did the video. And my son is in the video, and we had a blast doing it. And it came out, and it was very very well received. And then there was talk of us being able to bring her out for WrestleMania,
Right.
and then COVID happened.
Oh man, that would have been like amazing.
Yeah, and so now, so recently we've just spent our time doing game nights with our significant others, and we hang out that way. But yeah, she's wonderful, and is just such a gracious person, and just she's a star, and so I was very glad that, because as you know, wrestling fans can be a little finicky, as can music fans, and so you sort of just never know what your reaction is going to be. It was nice that it was so well received, and she's so either loved or hated, but even the people that hate her really deep down inside love her,
Yeah,
kind of
they
thing.
love to hate her.
Yeah, and that's what I watched wrestling as a kid, and that was the whole thing. And so, and funnily enough, so one of the big time heads of WWE, or high up anyway, is Michael Hayes, who used to wrestle as the Freebirds,
Yeah.
with the Freebirds. Well, so that's my generation. That's when I was a kid and watching. And so I've gotten to FaceTime with him a few times, with her or whatever. And it's like, that's the thing. Like, I love to hate that guy. Like, I loved the Von Erichs so much, and they were just the absolute enemy. And it's so cool to be able to talk to dudes like that these days.
No, that's amazing. It's funny. At MLW now, the promotion I work for, the Von Erichs, their sons work there. So it's really cool
Yeah,
just seeing how everything works and just getting to work and with these legends you watch on screen growing up and you never think you'll come face to face with.
yeah. A little tidbit for you.
Ooh.
For the first probably 10 years of Bowling for Soup, my actual stage name was Jarrett Von Erich. And actually it was a little bit more than that. And it was approved by Kevin himself
Wow.
And so I was a legitimate, and still am
An
considered a
honorary
legitimate,
member.
an honorary Von Erich. I am. And but I actually changed it because I wrote a couple of hits, and it started to get weird with the publishing and stuff like that. It was
Of
like, okay,
course.
who wrote this song? Like it's what, and my name is so weird anyway because Jarrett can be spelled with two R's or two T's and
Yeah.
a D or an N. You can throw a Q in there.
Why not? Z.
Yeah, why not? But anyway, but yeah, it's fun to keep up with Marshall and the younger generation, out there kicking butt.
Well, I'm really glad you two were able to join forces and do that collab because I feel like both wrestling and music fans alike just happened to eat it up and love it. So it was really fun to see. And hopefully there'll be more in the future when things get back to normal. We'll see you play her out to the ring.
I would love that. That would be great.
Well, I really do want to say just thank you so, so much for taking the time and hopping on here. Like I mentioned before we started recording, I've been a fan for so long. So I'm really happy we were able to make this happen.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I apologize for my dog interrupting, but again, I would have shown her, but she won't fit on the screen.
Right.
Um, but no, this has been great. Thank you so much. It was worth waking up for.
I feel bad now.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. This has been the incredible Jarrett from Bowling for Soup. I am the interview queen, Alicia, too. Be sure to stay tuned, not only for this incredible double show happening October 3rd, but the brand new record that they just recorded. And check out aliciatoo.com for more exclusive interviews and features. Bye, everybody.